All right. Last story for today is layoffs at GitHub. But this we pull this one out because this one kind of interesting. Because GitHub, everybody laid off people, everybody laid off, 10% of the staff, 6% of the staff, whatever. GitHub lays off 10% and goes fully remote. You see the goes fully remote part? I want to talk about that a little bit, but let me just kind of see what it said. The layoffs in tech keep on coming. This is an article on TechCrunch, published on the 9th of February, right? The tech layoffs keep on coming. Microsoft owned GitHub, announced today that it's laying off 10% of its staff through the end of the company's fiscal year. Before this announcement, it was reported by Fortune that GitHub had about 3,000 employees. The company will also shutter all of its offices as their leases end because of their low utilization and move to a remote-first culture. And, well, what we had to say about that, boy, Microsoft is the owner of GitHub, right? Microsoft laid off people separately on their own from the actual Microsoft mothership. But now GitHub, which runs sort of independently, but is Microsoft owned, could lay off 10%. 10% of 3,000 is 300 people. Yeah, 300 people basically. And goes fully remote. Why you think they did that?
I mean, apart from the obvious, I know they say they're going to have a hiring freeze as well, apart from the obvious, you fire people, you save money, more profits, whatever. But the fully remote part, even though they say they're going to have a hiring freeze, if you if you get rid of 10 people, right, and you're fully remote, you don't need people to come in. That means you open up your potential job market to the entire world. You get rid of 10 expensive Americans, hire 3 or 4 people from around the world, Chinese.
Who willing to work for half their salary.
Yeah, Even though you're on a hiring freeze, if you get rid of 10, you get 3 people that are doing the same job. You don't have no need for them to be in the office. You're fully remote.
From a technical perspective, I think the fully remote thing, they could go fully remote because they have Microsoft behind them. So they probably have a lot of deep integrations with Azure.
Teams, all that.
Where they could piggyback on Microsoft infrastructure and run a proper online organization without having the high cost of server fees on them. So like other organization that decides to go remote first, they're going to have to pay for server costs, pay for server integrations, pay for things like Slack, they pay for internal communications, VPN setups, all them kind of thing. They'll have to pay for that. But because GitHub riding on Microsoft wagon, I think this is not a problem for them. And I believe it might be smart, actually, because everybody had to do cost cutting, and Microsoft probably watch the GitHub team and be like, well, guys, we just let go 12,000 people, or whatever the number was.
Yeah, what you going to do for me?
Yeah, what you going to do? And the GitHub team was like, I see your 12,000, and I'll give you 300, but you see Azure, we need to get 50% more server capacity, and we need to get a dedicated Teams channel or whatnot. And Microsoft will be like, sure, we own that. Or they could get as much as all they want. Yeah. And that would work out nice in the end. And GitHub basically holding up the whole coding world in terms of code repositories and people saving things, because a part of it, like for our GitHub, I don't know, you use GitHub in your organization? Or paid GitHub, or you just use the free? Because I think
private one. Some people have their own personal paid one, but the organization don't pay for it.
Yeah, I think
we have Microsoft agreement, so it might
be tied in. Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know we use any free one for sure. By us for our apps, we use the free version, and they just kind of have different accounts, and you could share it, but have limits to it, of course, with the amount of people that could join the repo,
private
and the amount
ones,
of Yeah, and all that stuff. So, but I think there's give a lot. GitHub does give a lot for free to thing. And mostly it will be them big companies that would be using GitHub to have like large coding groups or whatnot. I'm not too sure if like companies like Google and Amazon, they might have their own internal Git that they use on their own. But GitHub for a small tech startup and whatnot, GitHub is a godsend. And I find Microsoft do real plenty when they buy GitHub, because real people thought when they bought GitHub, that is it for the open source coding, but nobody could. They will lock it down.
You know what's big? You know what's big when they offer the free private repos for free.
Yeah.
That was a big.
I was like, what? Okay, cool. Because people was looking to use our open source, and our next open source
GitLab.
Yeah,
I used to use that.
Real people jump to GitLab. Yeah,
but some other thing.
But I find the GitHub integrations from the little bit that I see, is give you a lot of things. You could even host a website and all kind of things.
Yeah.
And forward your domain and whatnot. And I was like, what? They doing all of that for you too? And only when you reach a certain amount of only when you reach a certain amount, not API calls, but only when you reach a certain amount of processing requests or whatever it is, they will tell you, well, hey, you gotta pay now or host it on your own somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you had to pay your code there. But they do a lot, and going fully remote, I feel Microsoft just call the shot and tell them.
And I mean, part of the rationale, similar to Google, was the claim to focus on AI, because the CEO said they want to become a developer-first engineering system for the world of tomorrow with a strong focus on AI.
Yeah, and I've seen it. Yeah.
So it seems like everybody that's the direction they're heading. Hey, we need to cut people. Yeah, that's slipping. We're looking to focus on AI too.
So, you feel the AI is a bubble, or is a for real thing? So let me say the metaverse. Metaverse was a bubble. Cryptocurrency was a bubble. Both of them burst. All right, cool, no problem. They will find their niche. Yeah, NFTs. They will find their niche, and somewhere along the line, we will actually be using them without any hype. But AI right now on a big hype.
Yeah, I think it's different because these other technologies wasn't as widely accepted. You had to have people advocating for them. So like in crypto NFTs, you had to have people out there advocating and, trying to make it not seem like a scam and all of that. Even the metaverse, it was real far-fetched for a lot of people. But, AI and ChatGPT, people actually see
organic,
practical applications of it, not just somebody needed to come and sell it to you and make you want to use it. You actually want to go and use it, and it's not just a certain segment of the population. It's from young to older people in school, professionals. It have different use cases, not just this niche. Whether it's tech people or entertainers, it has. I think it has greater long-standing ability versus metaverse.
I agree.
Or NFTs,
I think it's something that we've been looking forward to for a long, long time. And this is the first time in history I think we have had the breakthrough that we wanted. Because you talk about AI going on from since like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because it had a whole program language called Prolog or Lisp. No, Lisp was made. And they touted it as AI and whatnot, but you basically had to program all the if else. And it was like, oh yeah, it could make a decision on its own. It just, you had to put 15 nested ifs now, nested ifs. And then later on, they came to neural networks and deep learning and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's the first time I think that there is actual intelligent work being done by a computer. And humans can't actually explain what is taking place. They just know that the output is correct. So you have to rely on training it properly, which is why ChatGPT, Microsoft basically said, hey, we're integrating it. It might make some mistakes because we have no idea how this output is coming out. We just know that once we train it with certain data, we have to constantly monitor. And that's when you actually make a breakthrough, because you can't for lack of a better word, you can't control it as much as you used to. You could control the input, but you can't control the output in any big way. So I all for it, boy. I'm all for the ride. I down for this ride.